Well, we're talking now to the CEO of a company whose share price has gone from 20 Aussie cents to $1.27 within the past year, with prospects from Eritrea to Western Australia. Lorry Hughes is the CEO of South Boulder Mines. Lorry, thanks very much indeed for joining us today. The most recent news is coming from Eritrea, confirmation of an easily accessible potash. Tell us what's going on there.
Absolutely, Nigel. The Eritrea potash project has really emerged in the last couple of months with drill results, the first from the project for 42 years, and we've just couldn't be happy with the results. So now we can see a project that can easily be brought into production.
When do you think you'll actually have a really full-scale idea of the actual scale of the resource? I mean, is it world-class in inverted commas?
Absolutely. We see it there now. We have an exploration target of 500 million tonnes at somewhere in the range of 21 to 25%, and it absolutely is the world's shallowest deposit. So we're drilling that now, and we're working on the resource and scoping study, and that should be completed in the March quarter, and then we'll have a good idea about our expected capital costs.
Okay, well, Eritrea may not be the easiest place to get things out of. What's the strategy here? Where do you sell it and how do you get it out from there?
Well, I disagree with that. We think the port system is there already. We can build on that. We think we're positioned fantastically with respect to the key markets that are demanding potash, particularly Asia and parts of Europe. So we think we're very well placed, and will be a lot easier than people think.
And is there a specific exit strategy here in terms of, clearly potash has been in the news with the BHP bulletins of this world and big money available. Is there exit strategy or production, or what are you doing there?
Absolutely, we're full steam ahead charging towards production, and we believe that because we have the world's shallowest potash deposit, that we will start to leapfrog the pack in terms of getting into production before other companies. So yeah.
Pretty happy with that.
Pretty happy with that.
Now, the rest of you are interested in Australia, principally with the Duketon project, and this is primarily gold and nickel. Let's start with nickel. Rosie, beginning to show some pretty positive results.
Very much so. Very highly regarded by the company. Drilling is going on now at the project, and we have some assay results outstanding for some massive sulphide. If it's anything like the previous results of 9% nickel, we look like we potentially have a mine there.
Okay. What about the scoping studies? How are they progressing?
Very well. There's been a lot of work in the background by our joint venture partner, organising heritage surveys, community consultation, getting the approvals in place for major driller programs, and that should be set to start very soon.
Okay. Now, I think in June you raised around $1 million Aussie dollars. Where does that put you in terms of reserves or cash burn? What's the cash burn now, and where's the money going to be spent?
Well, we think we're very well placed. We have $6 million. We have a number of options converting over the next 4 months or so. So we see our cash position very good, particularly because our nickel project is fully funded by our joint venture partner. There's nothing to pay there. And when you look at the depth of our potash mineralisation, that directly translates to cheap exploration costs on the potash project. So our burn rate will be modest, and we can deliver a lot of value driving results.
Okay, and what's the actual cash burn rate at the moment?
The cash burn rate, it's escalating compared to our previous years. However, over the next 6 to 8 months, I expect to spend about $3 million.
Okay. And which of these prospects is likely to show the most addition to your valuation as a company over the next few months? I mean, where is the focus? Because clearly two very different geographies. Where are you focusing?
Absolutely, it's the potash project that can be the large driver to increases in our share price. The nickel project also can do that. However, due to the nature of the mineralisation, where typically it will take a longer time to drill out your resources on the nickel, we expect us to move a lot quicker with our potash project. Okay,
so we know that you're trying to get to production with potash, but what's the general strategy? Is it still finding new prospects and doing joint ventures, or what's the strategy for the company overall?
It's just getting to production.
Okay, so it's always to find the prospect, get into production.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what's the message to investors? Clearly the share price has shot up. I assume you assume it will get a little bit higher than that. But what's the message for now to investors? Because we wait for early next year for the next bit of news. What's the message?
Well, I think the message is that we have increased our share price considerably for good reason. And once you start to look around the world at comparable companies, particularly producing potash companies, the valuation upside for South Boulder is enormous. We will definitely get re-rated because we will leapfrog the pack in terms of getting into production, and typically the companies that emerge from an exploration play into a producer, they get serious valuations.
Okay, Lorry Hughes, thanks very much indeed for joining us today.
Thanks, Nigel.
This film is for educational and leisure purposes only. Proactive Investors does not provide investment advice. The company is a publisher and is not registered with or authorized by the Financial Services Authority. Please refer to the full terms and conditions on the Proactive Investors website.